everybody. Welcome to
The Adventures of Sam.
and Jennifer.
How you doing today?
All right, let's get into it now. I hope y'all have your cup of coffee and you're ready for this. Got a little list here of what we're going to be talking about. So this is mostly the emergency items for riding a motorcycle or for cross country or however you want to put it. But for me, my mom might change it up, but this is kind of mostly for me because I did make this make this little list without her. But mine would be tire plugs.
Tire plugs?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess if you run over a nail or something, you might need one.
Right. And then a motorcycle air pump.
Yeah, those come in handy. But if you're by yourself, you need one. If you're in a group, maybe only one person needs to have one available.
Right. Well, it would still be good for the whole group, though.
Yeah. Well, like I'm saying, if you got one person in a group who's got a place to carry it, great. You know, not everybody is going to have that real estate within their saddlebags in order to even carry one.
Not a whole lot, no.
No. See, if you got somebody in the group who's in a trike, they've got that trunk space.
Yeah, that too.
You know, that'd be nice.
Right?
Yeah.
And then rain gear.
Oh, man. Rain gear is invaluable. Absolutely invaluable.
Oh, yeah.
Must have.
Rain gear is definitely something that you would want to have and should have because you don't want to get...
You never know when you come up into
As the old school
storm.
saying goes, you don't want to get caught with your pants down.
Right? It's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Exactly.
That's the same thing I always say with my gun.
That
I'd rather
too,
have
yeah.
it and not need it than
to need it and not have it,
Mhm.
you know?
Exactly. I like having choices.
Road flares or emergency triangles?
Ooh, now that's a tough one because you can't always count on a road flare actually working.
No, not exactly, but if you get the right ones,
Even
they
in a
should work.
rainstorm. Even in rainstorm, though, they're not
Well,
going
you
to
get
last
some
that
water
long.
ones. Now, what if you're a person that doesn't like to go into hotels and camps out and whatnot?
Okay. Yeah,
What I say if your bike fucks up or something happens to electricity or the battery to where you can't start it?
You should always have a... I mean, okay, again, like I said, it depends on what kind of ride you're going on.
We're going a little bit off subject, but these are things to kind of think about a little bit. Because if you're a person that doesn't have a whole lot of money, but you want to go out and do that ride because you got the bike and so on and so forth, that's something to think about. Well, let's ask my mom here. What do you guys think about pre-tripping?
You should always pre-trip.
Tell a story. What happened when you didn't pre-trip?
Well,
Or what happens when you don't pre-trip?
if you don't pre-trip, depending on where you're going, what you're doing, you could wind up in a snowstorm. You could wind up in a rainstorm, get rained on, and get stuck riding in the rain. I mean, okay, here's the thing. Went out one night with somebody. We went on a motorcycle ride to go out to dinner. We kind of, I'm sure he prepared for it. However, ended up getting caught in the rain, being pelted by raindrops at 55 miles an hour is extremely painful. You need to be prepared as much as possible. Now, granted, we weren't expecting rain. In the city limits where we live, you look up in the sky and the sky is clear blue, nothing out there. But you go into dinner, you come out from dinner and it's cloudy and gray and ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You're just doing your best to hurry up and get home.
Pause for 1 second. Alrighty, guys. My apologies about that. Had some things come up, but let's go ahead and jump back into it. So, enough about the road flares and all that, the whole thing. Okay, so what about the deflector vests?
Oh, you mean the reflection vest things?
Mm-hmm.
The bright green, orange.
Yeah, but when the high beams or lights hit it, you
Oh, the reflective tape
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah. Eh, I don't know if those are quite as necessary as people think. I mean, it isn't very often you actually see somebody riding with those. Now, if you're in the middle of a highway ride where there are no streetlights, then they come in handy.
Right. But wouldn't you say that, like, you would need to have it in your gear just in case?
Yeah, yeah, I'd say it's probably a good idea. If you find yourself out in the highway riding, it's a good idea to have it, because if there are no streetlights, no nothing, and not even a moonlight out, you're in the dead of night nowhere. There's probably a good idea to have something like that on,
Right.
especially if you're wearing black leathers and on a black bike. No one's gonna see you.
Mm-mm.
All they're gonna see is little teeny tiny little red brake light
Right.
coming up from behind. They're not really gonna know what that is until they're right on top of you.
Right.
Whereas if you have some reflective tape and that sort of thing, they might recognize a little bit more about you. But other than that, those reflective vests and things are more for bicyclists.
Yeah, I guess I can kind of agree with it. I do think, though, that that's something that you should at least keep somewhere within your bags, everything, for just in case that it is dark and you're right. Don't suggest riding at night, but
Not so much.
some people do it. But the people that do it, I highly suggest wearing something like that, especially when there's no lights around.
I think in generally speaking, a reflective vest would be more if you're off on the side of the road, broke down, or even just sitting
Yeah.
on the side of the road. Put a reflective vest on. That way, people can see you.
Right.
That's more for if you're stopped. In my book, anyway.
Okay, so now legal medication to be taking when riding.
Yeah. You got medications like I do with migraines and whatnot. And especially if you went up to Colorado and you get elevation changes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to get a migraine. Just doesn't matter. Going to get a migraine. You want to make sure you have enough medication going up on the ride and coming back on the ride. Don't forget, you're going somewhere, make sure you got enough for both directions.
Right.
Some people get excited about where they're going. They forget they're going to need enough to come back.
Right. Exactly. That's the same thing. Like if you got like sinus infection, or or you're prone and easy to catch sinus infections or something of that sort. But I say legal wise because if the medication or the pills that you're taking or whatever, prescriptions or whatever, say do not take while riding or driving or what is it, handling heavy machinery,
Yeah.
and everything, then no, don't take it. Leave it at home, or
Don't be
don't
riding while you're
don't go
taking
those
it.
distances. But or yeah, just don't ride it. Don't take it. Don't take it before you go riding or something like that.
Yeah. Know your limits.
You do what you gotta do. You do what you want, but suggestion wise, don't do it. Now the non-shatterproof glasses or visors.
Yeah, I mean, I have safety lenses in my glasses. I wear glasses all the time. I'm not wearing them right now because I was getting a headache, but I have safety lenses in my glasses, my eyeglasses, prescription lenses. So everything I wear is safety lens. Don't recommend wearing eyeglasses that aren't, or sunglasses that aren't safety lens.
They actually have some out there that you could actually buy that are flexible, like the frame and
Everything's
the
like
lenses
rubbery.
are not rubbery. It's a plastic,
seems
but
like they're
it's just
rubbery.
very bendable, movable plastic, and you can run these things over and they won't shatter, they won't break into a million pieces, unlike sunglasses do. But they even have some for visors and everything too, because the reason why I have that on my list is because I really I want to get some of these one of these days, so that way if something comes up like a rock or a bug or something, that if I'm doing like 75 or 80 miles an hour and everything and it hits me, it's not going to put glass or shards of plastic or whatever in my eyeball and I'm having to run to the emergency room. Alrighty, so now backup socks, underwear, shirts, and pants.
Always have a backup of clothing. If you're going somewhere, say you're only going for a day trip or whatever, sometimes your day trips can turn into a 2-day trip.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, a day run, if you're only going for a couple of hours, that's one thing. But if you're going for an afternoon ride, you know, that afternoon could turn into a whole day. And you want to have something backup just in case.
Right.
You know, it could turn into a 2-day ride. And if I'm going to spend the night somewhere, I'd really like to have some clean underwear to put on tomorrow morning.
Right.
I'm sorry, but I do.
Yep. Well, the other thing is too, I would definitely bring clothes, extra pairs of everything, just because if you're going on long distance, you get rained on, or riding for so long in that heat, you're sweating so much, it's like you really don't want to be like being in the same clothes over and over for the next however many days you're going to be gone from your home.
Yeah,
like
can be
that. It just no.
Yeah.
I can't. That's just gross. But now, besides from that one, this one I think is necessary, but I don't think like you would have to if you know your route and you know where you're going, you know what you're doing. This is just more, and you're going to a hotel and you're going from like hotel to hotel and whatnot as you're passing through cities and states and whatnot. Me personally, if besides from that, when you're going out in the woods or somewhere where there's really no signal, or something just happens to your phone or whatever, a backup phone and a satellite phone.
Okay, one or the other. You don't need to have a backup and a satellite. If you have
True.
a satellite phone, you don't need a backup phone.
True.
So,
well, I put the backup on there so just in case anything happened, anything like you weren't properly prepared on the mounting for your phone, but when you put it on there and you took off, you didn't touch your phone or anything. You were just riding, cruising, and you're already like 1,000 miles away from home or something like that or whatever, and like you go to pick up your phone, and because you didn't get the right mount for it, it's all busted and it won't turn on at all.
Buzzed out.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying get the second one.
Vibrations can kill a phone.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, you know what, having a backup phone just in case, because that can happen.
Track phone is a good one because you buy so many minutes for it and they're always there. You don't ever lose the minutes on it.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. The satellite phone part that's mostly for when you're up in the wilderness or you're up in the way out there and there's no like you can't use your regular phone, but the satellite phone can definitely pick something up if something.
Now, well, like I said, track phone will cover from Sprint to Verizon to T-Mobile to all systems, so you have coverage pretty much everywhere.
Right.
So I think track phone is pretty much a decent backup.
Yeah, it is. So what about the heated grips? Or not grips, the gloves?
Always good thing to have, especially in the wintertime, fall time.
Well, kind of heated anything, really.
Yeah.
Like, should you have backup or should you not?
Backup. You always want to check your gear and make sure it's working before you go anywhere. I mean,
What if it fails out there on the road?
Then you try to find a new pair. You buy a pair while you're out there. There's nothing you can do about it if it fails on you while you're out there.
True.
Again, it's another one of those things. Are you going to take up extra real estate in your luggage to have an extra pair of something that should be working before you leave the house?
Okay. Well, what about sandals and regular shoes?
Sandals and regular shoes. Okay, well, if you're going to be at a hotel or something along those lines, I'm not going to go barefoot, say around the pool area or something like that in a hotel. I just will not do it. There are too many people around, got grungy ass, grody.
So what would you want to do?
I don't think go flip-flops or something.
Sandals or just shoes?
Why flip-flops?
Me
shoes.
personally,
I'm not a sandal person anyway.
I'm a sandal person. I'm a sandal person because I really like the freedom away from my feet, like not having my feet in a shoe all the time.
You always were barefoot, buddy.
Oh yeah, I love being barefoot.
But yeah, flip-flops always. If you're gonna go someplace and you're staying overnight, have some flip-flops in your bag. Get out of your boots.
I would say flip-flops for like the hotel, walking around the hotel, going to the hot tub or the pool,
of your boots. Yeah.
Everything. But the shoes should be like for when you're going to go out on the town and you're gonna go check out the scenery and the stores and businesses and stuff, and then you come back and then you. All right, time to go to the next town.
Whatever the case is, you kind of want to get out of your riding boots and let them air out.
Yeah.
Unless you're the kind of person that wears your boots 24/7.
Goddamn. Okay.
Some people do.
That's true. Oh yeah, I can definitely understand that. Now, emergency medical kit.
Everybody should have a first aid kit.
Yeah, first aid kit.
A first aid kit, yes.
I think so too. That's kind of important.
Medical quality first aid kit is important being on the road, because if you down your bike, you can have some serious injuries and need more than just a Band-Aid.
Oh, right.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
But we can get into more of what's involved in a medical kit at another date. Because there's different ones. There's
all kinds.
Specific first aid medical kits for shotgun, for shooters, ranges, and other things too. So.
Right. Okay, so jumper box and emergency toolkit.
A jumper box.
I have literally, like what I was talking about before, I have seen videos of people riding around in the snow and the elevation or how cold it gets or whatever. They spend the night in a cabin or whatever, and they go out to go start up their bike, and then all of a sudden the bike don't want to start. But it's a little tiny jumper box, and you just press a button, you hook everything up, press a button, gives it juice, and it tells you how much juice that it has before you need to charge it, all that. And then you start the bike, boom, runs, and you go.
Yeah.
But the emergency toolkit, I think it's something that it's good to have, but in a 50-50 kind of sense. I think it's one of those things like what Mom was saying, was that it takes up a little bit of room on top of it's back and forth.
You should have a minimal amount of tools, because something is inevitably going to happen.
Or could happen.
And you need to have a minimal amount of tools. So your basic wrench and socket, there's always going to be a little something. And if you have a basic kit, okay, you don't need a major tool kit, but a basic kit.
Yeah, like Harley Davidson, they have a basic little toolkit that ravels up, and it's like maybe this big.
Rolls up. Sorry.
Yeah. And It's like roughly about this big with everything all
if
rolled up
even
together.
that.
Yeah, if even that.
They make them specifically designed to roll up nice and small to take up as minimal space as possible. Because you know you got to think everything that goes on a bike has got to be minimal and takes up as little room as possible and as lightweight as possible. Because you don't want to wind up with a bike that already weighs 600 pounds and then add all the stuff to it, makes it weigh another 700 pounds. You know, seriously.
That is true. Well, a lot of the stuff that I've mentioned, I know you can go on Amazon or any place really, and you can get them for decently cheap and pretty small too, but different quality and quantity too. So it kind of really depends on your personal preference about what you want to put in your bike. Maybe put down in the comments down below and clearly tell us what you would prefer or what you would want to do with all of that. But we are getting up onto this is the end because we just got to the end. We're getting up on our 30-minute mark here. So we're going to go ahead and let you guys go. It was nice talking with you guys. Remember, be safe out there and watch out for others. Love, peace, chicken grease.
Ciao. Keep the rubber side down.